Hey, what is up, fight fans? In today's video, we are starting off with Dana White's massive update.
Possibly even rule changes.
And how he exposed Conor McGregor for playing games and misleading fans about negotiations for the White House event. We will also dive into the never-ending GOAT debate.
God, it's hard. That's a hard one.
On top of that, Dustin Poirier may not be done just yet. Plus, Tom Aspinall and a bunch of other fighters are sounding off on Pereira versus Ankalaev. Artem Lobov versus Zubaira Tukhugov has been officially canceled, with Lobov sharing a video to explain what really happened. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Now, viewers, you all know that we usually like to end our videos with funny clips of Merab Dvalishvili, but today, let's actually start the video with Merab and get a little serious. A couple of years ago, not many people rated the Georgian fighter that highly. But now, well, he's become a real legend in the UFC. Some people might want to argue and throw out other names, but the truth is that Merab keeps rewriting UFC history. And whether you like it or not, Merab Dvalishvili is already a UFC legend. Even Demetrius Johnson picked Merab over Dominic Cruz as the bantamweight GOAT.
Merab in his prime, DC, Dominic Cruz in his prime. Who do you like?
The thing is, God, it's hard. That's a hard one. Because Merab is so good about what he does. I think with Dom is a very good trickster. Not trickster, excuse me. Dom has a very high IQ. Not saying Merab doesn't. Dom is big. I just don't know if Merab can take him down. I didn't think Merab's going to be able to out-wrestle Henry Cejudo, carry him across the cage like that. But, you know what? Just for how many champions Merab has beaten, I'm going to have to go for Merab. Not saying that Dom can't beat him, but I think, Merab is just a different animal.
And the second Georgian, Ilia Topuria. His name keeps coming up in the conversation about greatness too. But now the debate is reaching a whole new level. Fans and analysts have started wondering if El Matador is already on track to become one of the all-time greats. Maybe even surpassing legends like George St-Pierre and John Jones. Now, Jones and GSP built their legacies over years of dominance. Topuria, on the other hand, is just beginning his reign. Some are saying it's way too early to crown him the GOAT, while Sean O'Malley argues that what Topuria has already done is unmatched.
Ilia is pound for pound the greatest fighter to ever walk this earth. Greatest fighter pound for pound ever.
Even over Jones, dude, huh?
Yeah, even over Jones, I think. It's just his last 3 fights. KO's Volkanovski, KO's Max Holloway, KO's Charles Oliveira. 3,
yeah, he's
he's not beating these guys in a decision. He's not taking them down and holding them down. These guys can't get up. He's knocking them out.
Yeah,
it's
I could take
sweet.
I think I could take.
I called him out.
I know you did, bro. I liked your next thing after that. You're like, thank God he didn't say it.
That was a joke.
That shit blew up.
The hype is real, the conversation is heated, and the only way that this gets settled is a super fight with Islam Makhachev. If he beats Islam, then without a doubt you can put him at the very top among the greatest. Now that is just my opinion, but what do you all think about this? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. And as for Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier thinks he might be done fighting at 155 after bulking up for welterweight. Everyone already knows that Makhachev struggles with cutting weight, and now that he's put on even more size, getting back down to lightweight could be even harder.
Yeah, he could be completely done at lightweight. It might be too hard for his body to get back down and compete at that level because he's not a small guy at all. I think when we see him in there across from another welterweight, he's going to fill the part. He's going to look like a welterweight fighter. He's a big guy, And I'm excited about that fight. If JDM's takedown defense holds up and he makes Islam have to be in front of him, it could be a long night. But that's so much easier said than done, man, when these guys are on your body and on your legs, and it's so much easier said than done.
Earlier today, Poirier hinted at one last fight, not in the octagon, but in the boxing ring. On X, he wrote that the only fight he would take is a 12-round boxing match with Nate Diaz. When a fan joked about him going back on retirement, Poirier doubled down, saying that he is done with MMA. but the Diaz fight is the one that got away. And it really did. They were booked to fight back in 2018 at UFC 230, but it fell apart because of injuries and contract drama. Then in 2022, when Khamzat Chimaev missed weight, Poirier nearly fought Diaz on 1 day's notice, only for the UFC to reshuffle things. But now the timing is interesting. Dana White just announced Zuffa Boxing is launching with a 5-year broadcast deal with Paramount Plus and CBS. The promotion will run 12 shows a year with new champions and even female divisions. Now that opens the door for some big crossover fights. According to Dana, Zuffa Boxing is already working on a brand new ring design and is even considering rule changes to make the fights more exciting.
We're already working on a new design for the ring. And I don't know if you noticed how we had the LEDs around the ring in the last one. So that meeting was yesterday too. We had a huge design meeting for a new boxing ring. So yes, we will bring lots of different elements to the production and to the sport. And yes, possibly even rule changes. I wouldn't say no to that. I'm not right now. I'm not sitting here saying we're going to change rules and we have a list of rules we want to change, but I wouldn't say no, that's not possible either.
At the same time, he made it clear that the Muhammad Ali Act will stay in place, but Zuffa plans to build on it and modernize the system.
Well, let's be clear. There will be 0 changes to the Muhammad Ali Act. Not one word will be changed in the Muhammad Ali Act. We're going to add on to it. So the guys guys being fighters that want to fight under the Muhammad Ali Act exactly the way it is, will have that opportunity to do that. Or you can bet on me and fight with me under our version of the Muhammad Ali Act. So that thing's been blown a lot out of proportion, and I get it. And I knew people were going to freak out because that's what people do.
Another big detail, Zuffa Boxing will only recognize 2 championship belts, the Zuffa title and the Ring Magazine belt. Dana made it clear, no WBA, no WBC, none of the sanctioning body chaos that has been slowing boxing down for decades.
But is there going to be a Zuffa belt where like the winner of the Zuffa belt has a springboard into like Riyadh season and a championship fight, a Ring Magazine fight?
You and I have never talked about this, but the answer is yes.
Right,
That's
of course.
Exactly what will happen.
Of course, yeah. Right.
There will be a Zuffa belt, and then there will be a ring belt. And yes, I will not recognize any of the other sanctioning bodies.
Meanwhile, White also brushed off Conor McGregor's recent claim that he is negotiating directly with Donald Trump for a fight at the White House. Dana laughed it off, saying the UFC is still fully in control of McGregor's next move. Dustin Poirier also believes that this weekend, Alex Pereira's motivation and his ability to land that knockout shot will play a huge role in his title rematch against Magomed Ankalaev, who took the UFC light heavyweight belt from him back in March.
I just think he's danced with this guy before. He wants that title back, and he wants to win. You know, he wants revenge, and he wants to show that wasn't him in the last fight. There's a lot of reasons why. And I just feel like he's too dangerous of a fighter to go in there and not find that shot this fight.
You think you see it inside the distance knockout?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a TKO or a KO inside the distance.
Even Dracus du Plessis believes that Pereira is reclaiming the throne.
I think what's going to happen here is, he's coming to prove a point. And like you say, he's not a young guy anymore. He's nearing the end of his career. So it's going to be exciting to see what he does after this, regardless of the outcome. I honestly feel the way I saw him in training, the stuff that I saw, he looks sharper. It looks, like I said, just more intense. But the striking was never the problem.
But Tom Aspinall doubts that Pereira can handle Ankalaev.
I think the matchups were quite favourable to him up until this point. I think the threat that Ankalaev brings in, him being a southpaw, him controlling the range really well, and him just with the threat of the takedowns. Even in the first fight, we didn't really see him really go for the takedowns too much, but I think just the threat being there, I think stylistically, he's a bad matchup for Pereira, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again.
Brendan Schaub is on board with Dean Thomas's bold idea of trading Magomed Ankalaev for rising PFL star Dakota Decheva. On the latest episode of his Thick Boy podcast, Schaub said Ankalaev is definitely a skilled fighter, but he's just not marketable, and that is actually a problem for the UFC. He thinks the UFC would make more money with Decheva since they are quickly gaining popularity and have real star potential.
The UFC business model now would make more money off Dakota than it would Magomed. Bar none. Matter of fact, Magomed's actually hurting the UFC. It's fucked up to say, because if he goes out and beats Alex, who's a much bigger star than him, it actually hurts the UFC. Now, if you're a purist, you're like, well, the best fight in the UFC, if he wins, he's the champ. I get that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about maximizing money, endorsement deals, TV time, a pretty girl who's very talented, who's a 500 fighter we can get more money out of than this guy from Dagestan who's a beast but isn't good on the mic. His shit talking's a little dicey. You know, it's just, and he's also so good that the stars you want to be the face of the UFC, he beats. That's an issue. So people will say the UFC has a star problem.
I'm Tom Aspinall, and these are my UFC 320 predictions.
Abbas Magomedov versus Joe Pyfer.
Joel Pyfer by knockout.
Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Salal.
Josh Emmett by knockout.
Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree Jr.
Oof, it's a tough one to call. I would say Yuri by decision.
Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen.
Don't want to pick against my guy Corey Sandhagen because I think he's very good, but I think Merab is unstoppable right now.
Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira.
Tough fight, but I think Ankalaev's going to do it again.
Now, the fight between Artem Lobov and Zubaira Tukhugov, which was supposed to go down on October 3rd at the PFL event in Dubai, has been canceled due to an injury. The promotion made it official, and Lobov shared a video on social media that he got cut during training.
Hello everyone. So what happened last night, I went training, trying to get accustomed to the fight time, so I went pretty late. This week I've been feeling excellent. There's no weight cut for me, so normally I'd be pretty drained, whereas this time, I was full of power, full of strength, and my coaches cleared me to train all this week, up until Wednesday. And I wanted to, obviously push hard. It's an important fight for me. We went training last night. I knew the fight was going to be a lot of grappling, a lot of takedown defense. So, we decided to grapple, tried to be, safe, didn't start standing up, went from the floor to, try and avoid injury, and got into it. I wanted to give it a hard push. I was pushing hard, and it was going really good. And we just had an accidental head clash. As soon as that happened, I could see blood everywhere, quickly covered it with the towel, ran upstairs, trying to not let anybody see me, As soon as got to the room, contacted PFL, they got the doctor, but as soon as the doctor, came in, he saw the cut, he said, there's no way you can be fighting with that. The cut was very deep, very bad. There was, as he called it, there was a flap there. It wasn't just a straight line. It's probably due to the fact that I have a lot of scar tissue on my face from my time at the bare knuckle and just all the fights I've had over the years. For me personally, I've never ever pulled out of the fight. I fought with any kind of injury possible, ligaments, broken hands, fever, antibiotics, you name it. I've always fought, never ever, pulled out of the fight. The doctor said, no way, we cannot fight, he cannot, clear me to fight. So the fight had to be pulled, I would like to apologize in front of all the fans, for this pullout. In front of PFL, of course, and most importantly, my opponent and his team. Zubaira, I'm really sorry for this. I know how, not nice it is to get fight taken away from you on fight week. I'm really, really sorry. I only hope that we can, reschedule this fight. I know that the world wants to see this fight. It's a must fight. I really want to fight. PFL wants this fight, so I really hope that Zubaira will agree to reschedule this fight and we can do it properly this time. Once again, I'm really, really sorry for this. I know how annoying it is. I hope you can all forgive me, and I hope to make up for it when we do finally meet. I'm going to make it an absolute bloodbath. It's going to be a war, and everyone is going to be very, very happy with this. Once again, so sorry to everybody.
Now, funny thing, these two were actually supposed to fight 7 years ago at a UFC event in Canada, but back then, Tukhugov got pulled from the card after getting involved in that big brawl with McGregor's team.
Excuse me, Khabib Islam together call me now. He said, don't speak English, speak Russia, he said.
Раз, два, не падай. Нет, туда тоже делай 2 шага. Делай туда 2 шага. Туда не бывает 1 шаг. Туда делай 2 шага. Давай, 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 давай. Раз, два, не падай. И за собой. Нет, нет, другую тоже держи. Не переходи надо. Держи ее. Да, да, да. Всем понятно? Давай, 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 давай. Еще раз. Делай. Другую сторону. Другую сторону. Нет, нет, другую сторону. Делай. Раз. Двигаемся, не упал. И за собой. Всем понятно? Давай, давай. По 2 раза каждый пошли. 4 минуты. Быстрее, 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 быстрее. Быстрее, быстрее. Полная борьба, 10 лет, Базаргану, четко. Пошел. Базаргану скачнула. До конца, отлично. Это нормально, Алмат, ты ему даешь работу. Но 50% нагружает. Всем понятно? Повалил, довольно борьбе правильно. Довольно. Упал, встали. Греппинг не делай, другую сторону. Давай, 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 давай. Ногу что почувствовал, начал. Не падай, не падай, не падай, не падай. Разные есть варианты, как сажать. Всем понятно? Зашел, отдаешь ногу и дальше разворот 50%. Давай, давай, начал. Не надо. Рассыпайся. На тебя смотрю, спать хочу. Да.
Сам ничего, я высмазался.
По очереди, первый номер 2-1, левый правый, второй номер 2-1, левый правый. Падай туда. Сажай. С ноги боремся, разбаривай. Молодец. У тебя ноги, малаши, левас, голову поднимай. Вот она. Откуда земчи. Набей. Киво дурпас. Бачи ходой. Не падаем, разбариваем, вот она. Разбариваем. Постоянно разбариваем ногу. Посвободнее станьте.
And that is all for today, but if you liked the video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate you all.